Hi, good morning, and welcome to the ZP Developer Zone. So every Sunday, and this is not the ZP Developer Zone, this is the vlog and podcast, but every Sunday we do this at 8 a.m. London time, and it's really just a sort of wrap up from the news from Zimmer Peacock for this week. So I will jump into it. This is something that we've touched upon, but something that we're sort of expanding upon as well. Is it actually Industry 4.0? So Industry 4.0 is the kind of and I have discussed it, but it's the sort of fourth industrial revolution. The first industrial revolution was the kind of use of water to power machines, and then there was an industrial revolution which was the use of sort of electricity to power machines, and then you had a third industrial revolution where people were using sort of computers and electronics to control machines, and now we're in a fourth sort of revolution where machines are starting to talk to machines through connectivity. So at Zimmer Peacock, because intrinsically when things need to talk and do things, sensing is definitely part of that process. So at Zimmer Peacock, we definitely see ourselves as part of the Industry 4.0, and that's not at odds with the whole concept of the Internet of Things. The Internet of Things is really a feature of Industry 4.0, but at Zimmer Peacock it is something that we have talked about, and something that we are expanding upon is our role within, as I say, Industry 4.0. So that was something that we put out there this week. Now, something that we are doing tomorrow is we will be at Swansea University. They're having a conference there, which is called IPM, or Integrated Pest Management. Zimmer Peacock, we will be exhibiting, but we will also be speaking. Now, we will be talking around biosensors in precision agriculture and horticulture. So we'll be talking about our chili sensing technology. We'll also be talking about our nitrate in soil technology. And we will also be talking about our fish tag technology, which is the measurement of cortisol and glucose in fish. And we'll also be talking about sort of the next steps in terms of horticulture. So at Zimmer Peacock, we're obviously very involved in healthcare. A lot of our technologies are for human health. But when you go for, you can sort of translate yourself from human health into veterinary health. And once, then from veterinary health, you can start to translate yourself into sort of being plant health, essentially, and measuring the welfare and the chemical parameters around plants. So we're happy to be invited to IPM, and this is definitely something that we are getting involved with very soon. In fact, not very soon. We will be giving a talk on it, and we will also be exhibiting there tomorrow. Now, every Thursday, we do have our Developer Zone webinar. This Thursday, we actually had a sort of quite a focus in really around detecting organic solvents. It was kind of interesting because I was kind of arguing that if you want to detect organic solvents, there are many ways of detecting organic solvents. But when you want to do the speciation of organic solvents, or what I mean by that really is, is it this organic solvent or is that organic solvent? Maybe I could call it identification as well. Detection of generically organic solvents, that's straightforward enough. But when you really want to sort of hone in and say, but it's this particular organic solvent that I'm interested in, that I did argue in that webinar that in fact I thought that infrared spectroscopy was a useful technique. But it was very interesting because the gentleman who was inquiring was, online with me and actually saying, no, I've looked at infrared spectroscopy, and he confirmed a couple of suspicions I had, which was, well, my suspicion was really around cost, that infrared spectroscopy technologies are not super low cost, and he did suggest that. And he also suggested it was actually quite bulky. So it was kind of interesting to see, because practical solutions are often a compromise. And my compromise was, I think electrochemistry can be robust and low cost, but I don't think it can give you speciation. But he'd already looked into it and said, I'm willing to trade, I'm willing to compromise on that. And that often is the case, with a sort of real world solution that you can't just have everything. You do have to say, I'm willing, for cost, I'm willing to lose some of my specificity. So that was interesting because we were essentially having that debate online at the ZP Developer Zone webinar. And that's possibly the power of the ZP Developer Zone webinar, that people ask us questions, but the answers are actually quite nuanced. And so we like to bring them to our ZP Developer Zone webinar and say, right, here's our thoughts. And if the person comes on live, then we're essentially getting to a sort of online real-time debate on it. So that was a kind of fun event that we did have this week. Now this week we have been very busy, and we're actually so there's been less sort of news put out. And the reason that we're busy is because this Wednesday and Thursday we do have a CGM workshop in Horten in Norway. So we literally have people from all over the world, obviously Europe, but also from the USA as well. And they're coming to do a workshop on continuous glucose monitoring, and we're delighted to be presenting that at our Horten conference, or our Horten location. But I also want to let you know that we're actually going to be doing a CGM, a continuous glucose monitoring workshop, on the 10th of November in San Diego, California. So we know that obviously we have a lot of connections into the USA. This one will obviously be on the West Coast, and it will be a one-day conference, and will be high. I mean, if you've ever been to San Diego, it's pretty amazing. Well, it's a very beautiful place. It actually is a bit of a hot spot for wearable sensors, biosensors. So we will be there. It will be at the Hyatt Regency Mission Bay in San Diego, California on the 10th of November. And we've just kind of put like a hold a date call out because people get very busy. We're literally only talking about 8 weeks from now, so we need to sort of start telling people now-ish that we will be having a workshop on that date. So this week the news is a little thinner because, as I say, we've been preparing mostly for our workshop next week. We want to make sure people have a really good time and get a lot of value from it. But if I was to summarize up, at ZP we are definitely very involved in Industry 4.0. I think this Thursday when we do our ZP Developer Zone webinar, which can be very technical, we will be featuring some of our Industry 4.0 ideas and technologies. Today I will personally be traveling to Swansea, and then tomorrow we will be giving a talk, and we'll be exhibiting at a pest management conference, which is really linked to our kind of interest in really agriculture and horticulture these days. On Thursday, very lively discussion around detecting organic solvents, and so we will hopefully get that kind of liveliness and interaction this Thursday when we do our conference. And save the date, 10th of November 2022 in San Diego. We will be holding a one-day CGM conference, and save the date if you're in the USA. So I think I'll wrap up for now. Say thank you very much. If you've attended our vlog and podcast, as I say, we like to do a kind of wrap up of our news for this week, and it's a busy week ahead of us. So please follow along next Sunday at 8 a.m. Otherwise, the webinar for the ZP Developer Zone members will go out on Thursday at 8 a.m. London time. Okay, thanks very much and take care. Have a good week.